Hey, Matt here, and welcome to my first video tutorial on using Eagle. Now, as many of you know, I am very much an Altium fanboy. Having worked at Altium for a number of years, I am very familiar with Altium Designer. And in this video, I wanted to take a look at editing multiple objects in Eagle, something which is very simple and very intuitive in the Altium world that I needed to be able to duplicate in Eagle if I was going to be successful using the product. So let's go ahead and just kind of take a look. Now, when we talk about editing multiple objects, let's start by editing a single object first. And in this case, I just want to move the fonts around and change the font sizes for these pieces of text which are associated with this inductor. Now, if I go ahead and I right-click on the inductor, to get access to the individual elements which make it up, I have to smash the inductor. Once I do that, you'll see that I get these little hotspots for each one of these different primitives, and then I can kind of selectively move primitives around, move this up here, kind of reposition this. If I hold the Alt key, I can use a much smaller grid and kind of move things around so they snap into place in something which looks a little bit better as far as my schematic is concerned. I can also then right-click on these and go into their individual properties, and I can change their sizes. So right now you can see that this is set to 0.07, or I think 70 mils is the actual size of whatever that piece of text is going to be. Now, that's cool and all, but imagine that I have a bunch of objects and I decide that I want to edit the group of objects and I want to be able to apply some changes to them, like changing the font size, for example. Now, we'll start over here and just kind of take a look at this. So I've got a simple level translator over here, and I want to go ahead and block select this using the group tool. And I quite like the group tool. If you hold the left mouse button and you drag, you can get things with a rectangle. But what I do like about it, and this is something that Altium didn't have, was this kind of polygon select mode. So if rather than using the left mouse and dragging, if I just go to the group tool and I just sort of draw by clicking on points, I can be very, very selective about those things that I might actually want to edit. I really, really like that. Now, to gain access to all of these objects over here, I can go up to the Smash tool, and if you just right-click in free space, you can choose to smash the group, and that'll smash the group of objects. Now, those independent little plus signs there, those will allow me to move those objects around individually, independent of this component over here. Okay, now, that's cool and all. So that's a simple sort of group selection, group edit. But take, for example, this text up here. Maybe I want to change all of these fonts to a different size. Right now, those fonts for those labels are 0.07. Maybe I want to change them to 0.05. Okay, to do that, I'm going to go ahead and block select this. I'll just grab all of this right here. And then I'm going to go to this change menu over here. When I go into the change menu, if you go down to size, this is going to show the size attributes. Now there's a bunch of these that I can sort of pre-select from, so I can choose 0.05 if I really wanted to. Otherwise, if I just choose the ellipses down at the bottom over here, I can actually enter a new size. So, let's do something. Indulge me for a little bit here. We'll go ahead and click OK. Now if I right-click in free space and I choose Change Group, all of those fonts will actually change. That is much, much easier than going ahead and smashing everything and then individually editing those items one at a time. So really cool features under the change menu. You can do things like, for example, change the size of text, change the spacing of objects, change styles which are associated with line segments, for example, width of multiple lines, that sort of thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but again, the workflow is basically this. We're going to go ahead and select the objects, and you can either do that using the drawing or using the bounding box, or we could just use the polygon and say, hey, we just want these objects over here. Then you're going to go to the change menu. You're going to go ahead and choose the command that you want. And in this case, maybe we'll take this back to 0.07. Right-click out in free space, choose Change Group, and those objects will change magically like that.